This is 7 News, the voice of the Riverina.
Tonight, a man hit by a bus just metres from Wagga Hospital.
Why the Ukrainian ambassador turned up to a local cafe.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, 3 parties to pick a boss as Labor reshuffles its upper ranks and a teacher accused of having child abuse material learns his fate.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. A man has died after he was struck by a bus on the Sturt Highway.
The pedestrian was hit just metres away from Wagga Base Hospital, but sadly couldn't be saved.
The local bus service has extended its heartfelt condolences to the man's family today as it supports one of its own. Emily Francis joins us now with the details.
Maddie, witnesses watched on in horror as emergency services rushed to the Edward Street stretch of the Sturt Highway on Sunday afternoon. The man, believed to be aged in his 30s, was hit just after midday. He died at the scene. The bus driver was taken to hospital for mandatory testing, and in a statement, Busabout says the driver is doing as well as can be expected. She's receiving full support from her employer and her family. Eastbound lanes of the highway were closed until around 6 o'clock last night as investigations continued. A report will now be prepared for the coroner. Maddie.
Thanks, Emily. Emily Francis reporting there for us tonight. And if you or anyone you know needs support, you can contact Lifeline on 13 11 14.
A Leeton teacher has been arrested and charged with sexually touching a child. The 43-year-old has been under investigation by the Griffith Child Abuse Squad for several months now. Now, that investigation led to the search of a Leeton home on Friday and the teacher's arrest. He was taken to Leeton Police Station and charged with intentionally sexually touch a child over 10 and under 16 years of age. The teacher was given conditional bail and will appear before Leeton Local Court later in June.
Damning statistics have revealed that 70% of fatal road accidents are happening in the regions. It's prompted a widespread push to improve road safety, with 134 people already dead this year.
340. That's how many lives were lost on New South Wales roads last year. Almost 70% were on regional roads. Victims, both male and female, of all ages.
And 2/3 of that was in the country. So we need to work with government and with people to make sure that the road toll over time comes down.
134 people have already died on our state roads in 2025, which is 22 more than this time last year, making this year's Road Safety Week message, "Drive so others survive," very relevant.
So it's very important that people do drive to conditions and people don't go at 65 when the speed limit is 60, so casual speeding is very critical.
This week coincides with 100 years of road safety with New South Wales Police. It's been more than 80 years since speed limits were enforced in built-up areas and 24 years since school zones were introduced.
Those other initiatives, especially the school zones, no question saved many lives on our roads.
Regional towns across the state are constantly making changes to prevent the death toll from rising, like reducing speed limits in the main streets.
We have elderly people in the community or young kids that run out of cars in those CBD areas, and I don't think 30 kilometres an hour in a main street is too excessive.
Speeding isn't the only factor that attributes to a fatal crash. Run-down regional roads, which are still waiting to be fixed, are also to blame.
There's a large backlog in infrastructure, so over $3 billion is required, we think, to get the New South Wales roads up to standard, and a lot of that is in regional Australia.
Amy O'Halloran, 7 News.
Temora is bucking the trend when it comes to attracting health workers to its regional centre. The paramedic workforce has tripled in the last month, and it's hoped it will reduce burnout and fatigue in the town's first responders.
New faces learning the ropes of healthcare in regional New South Wales.
It's a really great opportunity for especially us young paramedics. The metropolitan space is amazing, but to come out here and be one of 2 paramedics on at once in town is really special.
The Riverina has proved to be the perfect training ground for these young paramedics, moving to Temora within a year of graduating and putting their theory into practice.
You're one of 12 paramedics, one of 2 on at once, and the nearest backup is, say, 30, 40 minutes away. So it definitely opens your eyes to that.
They go through things with me, so like if I like we do a job that I haven't done before, they're like, all right, well, this is what we're going through. What do you think?
And these guys have come from large metropolitan areas where new systems are being adapted, and they may be able to share it a little bit with us.
The new blood is a boost to Tamora's paramedic numbers. The workforce has tripled in the last month, growing from 4 paramedics to 12 since the start of April. It's an increase that hasn't gone unnoticed by the community.
I'll like be out and like someone will ask what I do. I'm like, oh, paramedic, and they're like, oh, you're one of the new ones. Like, you know, like they already knew we were coming.
The boost in numbers is helping the area's health system by allowing staff longer times between shifts. In turn, it's having a positive effect on the paramedics' ability to provide care.
Less likely for burnout, less likely to have post-traumatic stress issues, better quality for our families.
Jeremy Eager, 7 News.
Days out from potential peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, a Riverina cafe has become an unlikely site of diplomacy. Vinalong's Cafe on Queen has taken a strong stance in solidarity with Ukraine, and the ambassador to Australia made a special visit today.
A symbolic shift in the rocky relationship between Ukraine and the United States.
We've had our ups and downs, but now we are definitely on the upside.
This small country cafe has captured global attention as the unlikely site of an international protest.
After we saw President Zelensky in the White House and the way he was treated by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, we were actually quite appalled.
We had to do something, so we did a little fundraiser, and then it just escalated from there.
Owners Jan Giles and Adrian Sykes imposed their own tariffs on American goods 2 months ago. They've now raised more than $5,000 for the Ukraine crisis appeal.
$1 on Coca-Cola, $2 on Jim Beam, and we match that, so dollar for dollar.
But this is not about how much they raise, it's about the gesture, it's about the sign of solidarity, about the spirit of these people.
The Ukrainian ambassador used today's visit to call for peace as the pain of war is felt in all corners.
It doesn't matter that you are far away. You have there your family, relatives, friends, half of my life was there. It's very close to the heart.
The owners of this Vinalong business are using their voice to protect those under threat. Almost 15,000 kilometres away from the conflict in Ukraine, the small country town is sending a strong message right across the world.
We will do whatever we can for them to be heard, to be seen, and to stop the war.
That's very special that people here in Australian bush are supporting Ukraine.
Emily Francis, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty joins us now for a look at today's weather, and Kirsty, it was a lovely day out there today.
It sure was, Maddie, and before we get to that, a big welcome back to you from all of us here. We're so excited to have you back from maternity leave.
Thank you. It was lovely to be back and see your smiling face.
Yes, the whole team's back together. And we had a beautiful sunny day for that. Hello, everybody. Our weekend weather that was nice and settled has, of course, continued as we kicked off the new working week today. A little patchy cloud overnight, but that managed to trap in some of yesterday's warmth. So we woke to minimums in the high single figures, even the low double digits across Gundagai and Adelong. Lockhart with a minimum of 10 degrees today. Sunshine throughout the day, maximums in the high 20s, mid-20s I should say. So we're still sitting about 8 degrees above the May average, 25 degrees through West Wyalong, 24 through Temora, and 23 in Cootamundra with barely a breeze, so we didn't even have that wind chill to cool us down. The week ahead will be very similar, cloud clearing, mild temperatures and light winds. I'll have the full forecast a little later on though.
Kirsty, that sounds great. We'll see you very soon. Well, stay with us at 7 News. Up next, a would-be dream spiker caught red-handed, all thanks to new technology.
And Wagga's crumbling footpath network in the spotlight.
A little later on this news out, big changes in Canberra as the Prime Minister unveils his new look cabinet. Plus, a global trade war appears to have been averted. Talks progress between the US and China. And an all-out brawl causes chaos at a Tina Arena concert.
Millions of dollars could soon be spent upgrading Wagga's walkways. It's a cash commitment that hasn't been made by the council in years, but one that promises to make a difference to the crumbling footpath network.
It's a pledge that'll make Wagga more walkable. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that could be going straight into our battered and bruised footpath system, something residents have been crying out for.
The Community Strategic Plan Community Survey had the top 5 things that the community were concerned about, and two of the top 5 were roads and footpaths. So it's important to the community.
Wagga City Council will vote on the draft financial plan at tonight's meeting. In the plan is a $200,000 yearly commitment to footpath renewal, something that hasn't been touched for the past 2 council terms. The cash splash will aim to renew a kilometre of footpath each year for the next 10 years.
It appears to have not been a priority, but I think starting to see that maybe that's changing.
The prospective funding pleasing those who find it more challenging than most to move around the city.
The conditions of our footpaths is not good, and it's been sadly lacking in previous councils, so this is really good to see.
Extremely beneficial for all people that are in wheelchairs and walkers and gophers and scooters.
Funding that could mark the start of citywide pathway renewal, and it could now be just around the corner.
There's an awful lot of, say from Murray Street right up to Gurwood Street, there's a lot of footpaths that need a lot of work on.
It's not going to fix the issue, but it's going to go a long way to getting started.
Jeremy Eager, 7 News.
A man's been charged after a rapid drink spiking test developed in Albury found a woman's drink allegedly containing drugs. There are now calls for councils right across the country to stock the life-saving test to protect publicans and, of course, our patrons.
A palm-sized device preventing a patron's night from falling into the wrong hands.
We actually had an incident in Albury because the victim was able to seek medical assistance straight away and actually averted any further sinister outcome.
Police were called to a pub in the city at 2 a.m. on February 9th after a man was seen pouring a substance into a 26-year-old woman's drink.
The venue security swiftly confirmed it on CCTV and then approached the victim. They then took a beverage and told her that they've got to take it for testing.
The drink allegedly tested positive for GHB, a tasteless clear liquid that works as a depressant, often used for date rape and sexual assault. Police charged a 26-year-old man for possession of an illicit drug. The female drinker was taken to Albury Base for monitoring. Troy Stewart developed the kit 2 years ago in response to surging reports of drink spiking. It's since been running as a trial for 12 months in Albury.
Their pilot is proof that regional communities can lead national change, global change. If even one life is protected, that's reason enough for other councils to seriously consider deploying the MRBT in their licensed venues.
You can go out and know that the venues really are trying to ensure that everybody's safe and healthy.
Phoebe Worthley, 7 News.
A groundbreaking men's health centre for the Riverina could tonight be one step closer to reality. Councillors threw their support behind the proposed Riverina Men's Health Centre in November after receiving a petition calling for the wellness facility. The topic is now tipped for discussion at tonight's Wagga Council meeting. The centre would provide a safe space for men to access health-related support and resources to navigate legal, family or relationship issues. Still to come in 7 News, Turvey Park claims a major scalp to remain unbeaten in the Riverina Football League.
And a fitting end to anniversary celebrations at a very special local oval. Temora has overcome a huge handicap to hold on to Rugby League's Challenge Cup. The Dragons piled on the points against Wagga Brothers, but they weren't the only big winners.
Wagga Brothers were given a 47.5-point start on Temora, but it wouldn't be enough to stop the Dragons from retaining the silverware. Hamish Starr drove the final nail into the Brethren's coffin. 11 players crossed for tries in the 88-6 victory. Will McDermott celebrated a hat-trick.
And Jared McKinnon finished with a season-high 24 points. He sits in second on the point scorers tally board with 48 behind Kangaroos' Charlie Barton. The 82-point loss continues a horror start to the season for the Brethren, which has now conceded 252 points at an average of 63 a game. The Dragons will face a tougher test when they host unbeaten Wagga Kangaroos on Saturday. Roos lead the ladder after piling on 58 unanswered points against Junee. Tumut sits in second after edging out South City. Gundagai became the first club to defeat Young, and a big boost in experience wasn't enough to prevent Cootamundra from suffering a fourth straight defeat.
And the fullback saver for his second try, Lockie Munro.
The Bulldogs unleashed former NRL player Glenn Buttress against the Thunder. It was the 39-year-old's first appearance for his hometown since 2018. He was denied a winning return, with the Thunder running away with a 52-14 victory. Steph Muir, 7 News.
Turvey Park has come from behind against Coolman to continue its winning start to the Riverina Football League season. The Bulldogs are one of only 2 unbeaten teams left now in the competition.
2 genuine premiership contenders at one mouth-watering showdown that went right down to the wire in Coolman.
Looks good, it's through. Turvey Park back in front.
Little separated Turvey Park and the Hoppers through most of the round 5 blockbuster at Kindra Park. A brilliant kick from Zach Wolgers gave the Bulldogs a 13-point advantage in the second term. It would prove the biggest margin of the hard-fought contest. Tim Cohen helped the Hoppers close the gap to a point moving into the second half.
And he does.
Goals to Jade Curtis and Nick Buchanan allowed the Hoppers to jump out to a 9-point lead through the third term. Baxter Harmer soared into the air for a beaut mark to help the Bulldogs reduce the deficit.
And he splits the big sticks, and it's back to a 3-point margin.
The Bulldogs booted the only 2 goals of the last term to extend their winning run out to 4 games. There are concerns for Harry Stapleton after he was injured in the 10-point win. Elsewhere, Ganmain obliterated Griffith by 150 points. Mengapla defeated Narandra, and Collingully claimed the season's biggest win, thrashing Leeton by 179 points. Steph Muir, 7 News.
Wagga Reddies had an extra cause for celebration after hitting back from a 67-point loss in the second round of rugby union. The win coinciding with a big day for the club, marking 20 years since its last grand final victory.
An inspiring reminder for the men in red and white that even the longest droughts can be broken.
We hadn't won a first grade grand final since 1978, so it was pretty significant for the Reddies club. It was it was a long time between drinks.
This year marks 2 decades since Wagga Reddies last tasted first grade premiership glory. The club defeated Albury in the 2005 grand final and also triumphed in second grade and under 18s. Members of the premiership teams gathered to mark the milestone at Bearers Elwood Oval.
Albury were a very strong team and have always been a very strong club. But on the day we played some really good footy.
We weren't great starters. In any of our games, we usually let in the first couple of tries all year, and in that grand final, we'd come out and we actually put on the first probably 3 or 4.
Reddies ensured a fairy tale finish to the anniversary celebrations by claiming a 44-31 win over the Steamers. It was the club's first win of the season, but the Greats are confident it won't be the last.
Seeing a lot of character, a lot of heart in the club. It's a different club to when we played. We were a lot closer to the university back in those days, whereas the club seems to be going through a bit of a change period, but it all seems very positive.
Across town, Wagga City survived a scare against Griffith. The resurgent Blacks led 22-12 at the break, but the Bold Lollies fought back to claim a 47-41 victory. Waratahs defeated Tumut. Steph Muir, 7 News.
We'll stay with us at 7. Kirsty's back in just a couple of moments. She will take a look at your week ahead in local weather.
Welcome back, everyone. Another lovely settled week is on the forecast across the state. A ridge of high pressure is extending throughout New South Wales, generating cool mornings, mostly sunny days, and contributing to above average temperatures. This system is also causing onshore winds, pushing moisture along the coast, resulting in showers. A cold front will cross the state midweek, though, with overnight temperatures dipping and possibly returning up to areas of frost.
Now, our coastal showers could be quite extensive, stretching from Sydney all the way through to the Queensland border, around 60 millimetres along the coastal fringe, around 40 to 50 millimetres throughout the ranges, but much lighter falls for the rest of our state. Tomorrow, mostly fine conditions though across the Riverina, though parts of the southeast could wake to a little early fog. Most of us expecting a mostly clear day with just a light breeze, and temperatures very similar to what we've seen today, sitting around the low 20s. In towards the afternoon, there is a slight chance of a shower in the east, no more than about a millimetre or two. 14 degrees through Selwyn, 23 our top in Temora. Now, that chance of showers looks to clear midweek with that cloud clearing too. A gorgeous day on the forecast for our Wednesday. Again, quite mild temperatures. Wagga 23 degrees, Narrandera heading for 24. Winds picking up slightly though out of the southwest, so they could bring a bit of a chill to the air during the day. A fine 21 for both Grenfell and Harbor. Now, overnight on Wednesday, a cold front will sweep through the region, cooling temperatures down as cool as 2 degrees for Young in the morning, with a chance of frost returning, but again, sunny and settled during the day. Now, if we look ahead through to the next 7 days, no sign of temperatures dropping any further just yet. A bit of a cooler spell into Saturday, but our maximum staying warm, about 3 to 4 degrees above average right the way through the week, guys.
Not too bad at all, Kirsty. Thanks very much.
And that's your local news for tonight. Thanks for watching.
In just a moment, Dan has all your latest national news. Have a great night from Maddie and I. Good to have you back, Maddie. We did miss you. And we'll see you tomorrow night for more local news at 6 o'clock.